Hey guys, hello. So guys, welcome back to day 2 for the Flutter Bootcamp. I hope I'm proper audible. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that you have downloaded yesterday's what do I say Flutter installation and it's complete. So let's not wait anymore and let's switch on to understanding. What are the widgets, what are Flutter codings, what are things that are involved in Flutter, and let's switch on. So let me just share my screen and put it up in the video. Yeah. Guys, just give a thumbs up if the screen is properly shared. Yeah. So guys, as you can see, this application that you get is the very basic application. We have also shared a link from in the documentation for you to download the zip, which will help you out. Even if you don't download a zip, you can easily just create a project because we will be creating everything step by step. So that won't be a problem. Yeah. So guys, yesterday as we discussed that. Hello guys. Yeah. So yesterday, as we guys discussed, we need to understand what is widgets and what are states, and it was a bit difficult for you guys to understand. So I'll be putting up each and everything as to what you have to do, what you have to do, what are the things that have been changed. So let me first, because even though this is presented, let's just remove everything so that it will help us out to understand and create mean. Guys, just let me know if my screen is properly visible to you guys. Let's create a stateless widget. And don't worry, guys, everything will be explained to you, so that won't be a problem. Okay, then well, yeah, cool. Then, guys, check it out over here. What we have done over here, first of all, is we have imported a material. Now, what exactly is a material? Initially, as I discussed yesterday, Flutter is basically a framework. That means it's download everything. Yeah. So that means you download everything that is in material and whether in Cupertino, which we have. First, in any of the code that we write, since Flutter is taken from Dart, we have to start with void main. It is basically an entry point of the application, and you have to write the run app, which is the my. Now, as we discussed yesterday, there are two widgets in Flutter mainly, that is stateless and stateful widget that we call. So initially we are calling the stateless widget, and let's call the fundamental widget that we present over here is the material app. So guys, just check it out over here. It's non-material, it's material app. Most of the people gets confused in this. Okay, then well, let's download material app. Let's put it home. Let's put a scaffold in this. And let's check it out. What does it give us? So now it is giving us a white screen. The reason behind a scaffold is a body, but there is nothing inside a scaffold. There is no app bar or anything. So let's just put up an app bar over here and check it out. So even if I put up an app bar, you're not able to see it properly. So let's put up in some color. It is due to a color, guys. Let's put up a background color as colors.blue. So now you can see there is an app bar which is of a blue color. Let's put up some title, as you know all the applications need a title. My title will be with the text widget as Flutter Bootcamp. Yep, we get the title properly. I hope this much is clear, guys. In this, we have used basically main four widgets. That is, first of all, it is a material application. Now, what does material application do? It is the starting application that you have to put. Either whether it be if you are completely coding in iOS and you need the complete application iOS style. That is the styling of the iOS. The Apple is Cupertino, so you can use Cupertino app. If you want the whole application to be styled properly in material, then you can use Material app. But Flutter, as we say, it is made for both the sections, whether it be Android style or whether it be iOS style. So over there, what you can do is that either you can start with Material app or Cupertino app, and then on the basis of platform, you can change it. Some people, what they do is that in the initial itself, they put it up as platform dot. If it's iOS, they put use Cupertino app, and if it is Android, they use Material app. My suggestion would be don't do that, since it is the entry point of the application, so we should not change the entry point, but where exactly it is needed, you should just change it accordingly. Yeah. Scaffold is basically, you can kind of a body that is present over there. It is basically the whole structure inside which you put up your app bar, your screens, your floating actions, and your other buttons. App bar, when we say, it is the heading, proper heading and the proper title, the header of the screen. So you have the app bar in which you put up the action buttons, the notifications, the drawer, and all of the other things can be introduced in your app bar. But all these widgets are very common, but there are certain widgets that you use multiple times and continuously in your application. Those widget is basically a text widget. Now, what does a text widget do? As the name suggests, it shows all the text that are present. And with Flutter, it's just not the text, just, even though it's just a basic Flutter bootcamp, you can see there is a theme that has been decided. But you could, you don't need the basic theme. You also need to change the theme, right? Like even I don't like the themes. So what Flutter has done is that they have given some of the default theme which you can use. So let's use what do you call a body large theme dot of context build context dot text theme. So over here you can see there are a lot of text styles that Flutter has already given. That is body large, body medium, body small, display large, headline, label, title. So there are a lot of things. Plus, guys, if you can see, there are some of the styles which are with a subscript which are strike through. These are basically deprecated. Now, when we say deprecated, I'm pretty sure most of you guys must be knowing what does a deprecated means. But deprecated is basically ones which have been not been removed yet by Flutter, but they are removing it, in some of the higher versions. So this suggests that you don't use them and you try to avoid them. So that is the reason they put deprecate, so that you guys have time to update your applications. So guys, let's use body medium. Let's check it out. How does it look? Okay, I think this is a pretty good styling that I feel. Let's change the color. So for changing the extension color, let's use copy with color colors dot white. So if you can see, it is proper. But an Android still it looks good. But I don't need my titles to be in the left side. I generally like it in the center title. So app bar has that function as well. Let's put in center title true. So guys, in this, as you can see, we have put up the center title as in the center, which looks very good. Even if you do it at a false, it's up to you. Then it will look at the left. So it's up to you. Why sir didn't use safe area? So guys, safe area is something which helps us to blocks की आपका जब header या फिर आपके जो bottom के icons होते हैं, back, center और home screen के icons, उससे वो बचाने के लिए वो use होता है. But it is guys up to you whether you want to use. There are certain places where we use safe area. For example, modals or bottom navigations where we need to override it or we need to keep our bottom items or top items safe. That is where we use safe area. I don't feel, but since it's a basic application, we don't need to. I don't feel that we should use safe area, but it's up to you guys. So, Siad, I hope your answer is sorted out. Yeah. So guys, ये तो हो गया, but let's create the home screen. That is the center part. So let me create a floating action button. So guys, if you can see over here, I have added icon. There is a plus icon in the floating action. But the main reason for showing you this is something else. Let's check it out. I'll just wrap it with a column. Acha, there's one more important note, guys. With basically Flutter, whether it be a VS Code or whether it be Android Studio, what you get is over here, if you can see, it is a bulb over here. It is basically to provide you suggestions. Whenever you click on the widget, that for example, floating or text or anything, even if you don't see the bulb, you can right click on it, check out show context actions. Now if you guys are using VS Code, you also get this extension. Let's use show context action. We can use wrap with widget, builder, center, column, container. I want to try to, let's wrap it with the row, because there are certain things that I would like to show you, and I'll just duplicate it and change the icon. Remove. Let's just save. Guys, if you can see, अभी यहाँ पे दो icons आ गए side by side since we have put it up as row. What if I put it up as a column? What happens? Let's check it out. Let's put it up as column. Guys, अगर आप यहाँ पे टॉप में देख सकते हो तो ये टॉप में आ गया है. Let me just put it up at bottom and let me show you. So देखो guys, अभी ये bottom में आ गया. Now guys, over here, if you can see, you have की column अगर होता है, it works completely vertical. That is a standing position. But when you work in row, it completes to work horizontal. That is a slanting or a sleeping position. So whenever you're working with row, assume that you're working in a sleeping position. If you're working in a column, that is you're working in a horizontal, what you call a vertical position, that is a standing position में आपके सारे काम हो रहे हैं. Now there are certain things that are common in row and in column as well. I will show you in column and row for better understanding. Let's add a container over here. Wrap with the container. Let me give a height to a container since you are not able to see the container. So let me first give it a color. Colors.blue. So now you can see we have a container which is completely wrapped. It is at the top and इसका full height है. Now if I do space between, let me show you. Space between. उसने पूरा size ले लिया. Now guys, what we are going to learn over here is two things. First of all, main axis alignment, and second is main axis size. I hope I'm clear up till now. So guys, before starting everything, let me just give a what do you call it, brief revision what we have done until now, so that it will help you out. So guys, देखो पहली बात Flutter में you don't need complete that basic understanding. You can start directly from Flutter for learning it, which we'll be doing today. And in today's session, what we are going to do is we are going to learn about widgets and all the other things. So over here, what we have done is first of all we have introduced void main. Now, what exactly is a void main? I'll just repeat myself. That is, void main is the entry point of the application. If you want to write any code in Flutter, you have to start with void main and run app, which two are the entry points. If you can see inside the run app, what I have done is I have introduced my app, which is basically the stateless widget that we have created. We have two widgets, stately and stateful. As discussed yesterday, over here the difference is with the state, and we'll be also learning about this tomorrow in depth as to what state is. Even today we are going to learn some other part of the state as to how the state changes, what do we do in that. So don't worry about that. Yeah. When we started with widget building, what we did was we introduced material app. Now, as we discussed, material app is basically, there are two design systems in the world. There are, even though there are many systems, but I'm taking consideration two. One is of Apple, that is the Cupertino system, and one is of Android, that is Google's, is of material design system. We'll be working currently with the material design system, where we use material app, inside which we have used scaffold. Now, scaffold is also a widget. As we said, everything is a widget in the Flutter. So, scaffold is basically the complete body of the application, which includes whether your app bar, your text, and all the widgets. To show all this widget, you need a scaffold, which will give you the complete body. Inside it, there will be app bar, the bottom bar, the center body, then the other widgets, buttons, elevations. Everything comes under the scaffold because it has different properties like app bar, floating actions, and all other properties. Then we learned about app bar. Now, what exactly is the app bar? App bar is basically a widget which is the header of your screen. Whenever you need a screen, you need a header and a footer kind of thing. So footer is come like bottom navigation bar, and the header is known as the app bar. So we have introduced app bar. We also introduced, initially what we did was, when we introduced the app bar, it was not able to say visible because the body and the app bar had the same color. So what we did was we introduced a background color, that is colors.blue. We also gave a title, which is a property of the app bar, that is a text widget in which we wrote Flutter Bootcamp. I hope I'm clear up till now. Is there any doubt? Yeah. So guys, over here, as you said, textiles, if you find it difficult, what we can do is that we can also write complete textile. Styling with there is a, in text widget, there is styling systems, key how you style. Now, when we say styling, it is like you can change color, size, font size. So let me just show you a text which will help you out. Let's write it as textile. Now, in this, if you can see, there are multiple properties like color, background color, debug label, decoration, font family, features, font size, font style. Let's go over, some of the properties one by one, which will help you out. Let's go first, font size, and I'll just put it a font size as 30.0. And let me just remove this part as of now, just for a better understanding. We'll be also learning this again. Don't worry. Somebody asked, what is the difference between Run app and My app? So My app is just a stateless widget, and My app is just a name. You can change it to anything, whether you can change it to Yash app, Prasad app, Let's Upgrade app. You can change it to any app, and that wouldn't be a problem. My app is just a name that we are calling. Run app is a property of the Flutter, that is the entry point, and it is a compulsion that you have to use for it. Guys, I know you are getting a lot of doubts that that are present in Flutter, but my suggestion will be, let's understand what is being, and rather than asking questions as to what is super dot key or other elements, those elements will come up. It is not like they won't come up, but they are not necessary with bootcamp, and it will come up in day 3 and day 4. So don't worry about that. Today our main topic is to learn the widgets, so we'll be focusing on that. Yeah. So in the text property, as we're discussing, we have style, that is the text style. When we increase the font size to 30, you can see over here the font size increased. Let me just reduce the font size. to 15. You can see the font size is decreased. We can put it up anything. My suggestion will be, let's put it up a font size of 20. Let's check it out. So you guys can see it is appropriate styling. But even if on the blue color, अगर आप देख सकते हो, it is a black color, Flutter Bootcamp. Black color doesn't look good. Let's try to change the color. Let's put it up color, colors.white. So now you can see it shows an ample color. You can change it to any color, guys. Let's try to put it up as pink. I don't know how the pink will look. Colors.pink. So if you can see, pink is not looking very good. Pink is looking very bad. Can you guys give me a color suggestion in the chat? Is there any color suggestion that I should put it up in the chat? Okay, then let's try it with white. Cool, then well, guys, it's looking like this. Let's try with some font bolds and everything. So let me just put it up as bold. Background decoration. Let's put it up as font weight. Yeah. Now let's put it up as font weight. Dot bold. So if you can see, there is a boldness in the application. Even if I reduce it, you have multiple weights that they have presented. Let's put it up as 300. So now you can see the what do you call the boldness has been reduced. उसका weight कम हो गया और वो एकदम पतला ऐसे दिखने लग गया. If I again put it up as bold, you can see वो एकदम to look kind of a fat like me. So yeah. So as you can see, वो एकदम हर एक letter एकदम strong boldness आ गया. So you can put it up like that. Okay, I've got as some of the colors that light gray, cooper, yellow, gray, purple, red, green. App background color as colors are black. Okay, let me just try it out. There is a background color that's black. So the app background color is completely black, guys. And there is a suggestion that the color should be gray, the text color. Let's put it up as gray. Okay, so background is black and color is gray, so it is not looking very good. Let me give it a white color. It might look good over here. Yeah, let's put it up as white color. Yeah, I think this is looking a bit good with font weight as bold. So guys, I hope that you guys have understood what is a text widget, what is an app bar, and a scaffold. Just guys gives me a thumbs up. But if we have put it up as black color, copper is best color. Please use this. Nobody will be continuing with this. How to use emulator? Okay, how to create animation for a button? I think we can change that. Can we change font? Yes, guys, you can change font. You can get the font in Google way. Whatever Google font से आप लोग font download कर सकते हो. You can also change that, or you can use Google Fonts library as well. So we have font family property. Now with this, I have to download the Google font. So my suggestion will be, I won't be using it currently, but yes, using Google Font library, you can use it. But I'll be also showing you how to download a library in the package from Flutter PubGet. So with that, you might be able to help it out. Yeah. So this is the title and everything. Let me just introduce this floating action button. I'll just introduce this again. Yeah. So this is done until now. I hope I'm clear with the app bar. Guys, just give me a thumbs up if we can. Yeah. So I think so I've got a thumbs up. Let me just change the. No, this much is done. But what do we need over here? Let me introduce body center widget. Now I think so. I don't need to explain what the center widget do. With the name suggests that it takes everything to center. Let me put it up as child. text, and let me put it up as I am Yash Adulkar. I am Yash Adulkar. Let's see. So if you can see, we have got it as I am Yash Adulkar in the center. Yeah. Let us put a floating action button, because the concept that we have will be needing a floating action button. So guys, for some time, just copy this code that I'm putting up. Let me put up a child icon, icons dot add. Okay. Let with context row, let me add it in the, what do you call it, column. Let's wrap it with the, and let's duplicate this code. And instead of add over here, I'll just write it as remove. Let's save. Yeah. Let me again wrap this with a container. Show context, wrap with widget. And over here, I'll just write it as container. The color of the container, as we change in the text, I'll be changing it over here as colors.blue. This is just for better understanding, guys. I'll be also explaining this code as to what is shown over here. So I'm hoping that everything is clear until now. Let me explain what we have done over here in this floating action button part. Initially, what we did was in the floating action button, we introduced a floating action button. Just the way we have text widget, center widget, material app widget, scaffold widget, there are a lot of widgets that are introduced. I'll say more than thousands of widgets that are introduced in Flutter. One of which is a floating action button widget that we have it over here. Inside which what I did was I wrap it with a container, which I gave the color as colors.blue. Also, I've wrapped it with the column, and I just introduced another floating action button, and we changed the icon, that is icons.remove. Now, when we say icons, is Flutter also has, since it's a framework, it has a set of libraries that are present in the Flutter. That is the icon library, which has millions of icons that they are present, which you can also find on Google Fonts icon library, where they have put up all the icons that are present in Flutter. You guys can check it out and use it up. I have used two icons, that is icons.add and icons.remove. And in onPress, what does onPress do and what it doesn't do? It is basically on-click function. But how does it work is something we'll be understanding when we'll be creating a project. So over there. Yeah. So until now, this is done. But over here, we have inside a column, there are two main properties which you should check it out. One is main axis dot size and one is main axis alignment. Now over here, you can see जो container का size है वो बहुत बड़ा है. It has taken up the whole set. But what if I put up the height as only half? That is 1000. Also, guys, there is no unit as pixels, remainder, EM in Flutter, so don't worry about that. Let's just save it up. Let's just put 100 and let's check it out. Yep, you have got render flex issue. Let me put it up as 200. Yep. Over here at the bottom right side, you can check. We have put it up as 200. So, but itna to ho gaya. But how does it work? Now for that, let's do some of the techniques that we use. One is main axis alignment. I'll just put it up as main axis alignment. And main axis alignment. Now what does main axis alignment do is that जो जितने भी elements है in Flutter, do you want to divide it, do you want to spread it in a column, do you want to put it up at the start, do you want to put it up at the end, it teaches that. So if I put it up as main axis dot end and save it, you can check both the elements goes below. But I don't want both the elements at the end here. I want it at the start. What do? I just put it up as start and it will go at start. But I don't even want it start, I don't even want it end. मुझे वो दोनों को एकदम टॉप एंड और टॉप ये बॉटम एंड ऑफ द कंटेनर में रखना है. What do I do? I'll just go over here. I put it as a space between and I save it. So now you can see there is a gap between both of them. लेकिन ये गैप तो हो गया. But now what I want is कि वो दोनों टॉप एंड टॉप बॉटम पे नहीं होने चाहिए. It should be evenly spaced, the elements. So how do I do that? Let's check another method that they have given over here is space evenly. Let me put it up as space evenly and save it. So guys see, अभी ये दोनों बराबर equal proportionate पे है एक दूसरे के distance से and even at the end part. So with this multiple techniques. लेकिन अभी तो ये हो गया because initially it is main axis dot main size. Main axis alignment we understood. Is main axis alignment guys clear? Is there any issue in main axis? What's the child supposed to mean? So child is basically a element be inside the parent element. When we put it up as child and when we put it as a parent, let me show you in Flutter. One second, guys. I'm sorry about my system. It is a bit laggy today. So guys, let me explain you something over here by the time the system restarts. So when we say main axis alignment, which is start, end, space evenly, and everything. I hope it is clear. Else you may use your mobile phone. So guys, we have been using a mobile phone. We are just reflecting the mobile phone over here. Yeah guys, so now you can see the screen. लेकिन अभी ये कैसे हो रहा है कि ये पूरे कंटेनर की स्पेस ले रहा है और उसको इवनली स्पेस कर रहा है. What if I don't want this? I just want it, take the minimum size possible. So what I do is that main axis size dot min. Now when I do min, over here is, let me just put it at the start. Do a hot reload. So guys, if you can see over here, उसने कम से कम space ले लिया. I'll just remove this part. So guys, if you can see, उसने कम से कम space ले लिया. If I do it as max and do a hot reload, it took up major space that is present over here. It took up the complete screen. So that is the difference when you get with the min and max. When I do min over here, it took a minor space. When I do a max over here, it took a major space. So I hope I'm clear with this. Guys, am I properly audible? Is my voice breaking now? सो गाइस, अब तक तो ये सीखा कि स्टेटलेस विजेट में हम लोग विजेट्स कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं, यूआई कैसे बना सकते हैं, यूआई कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं. बट राइट नाउ एज वी सेड कि स्टेटलेस विजेट है, वी हैव स्टेट एलिमेंट्स, stateless, stateful. We always keep on hearing that. But what exactly does the stateless widget and stateful widget do? Let's check it out and let's work on it. Yeah. So we have this icon and everything. Let me just give it a height of 250. Let me remove the color, and this is spaced evenly. Yeah. Now the UI looks pretty good, but let's just change few things. I hope I'm clear until now. And what I'll do over here is I'll just create a variable. So there are multiple variables. There is string, double, integer. I'll just create an integer of value is equal to 0. Now guys, over here, if you can see, what we have done is we have created an integer of value is 0. And let me just remove this as well. Yeah. So now you can see we have created an integer, but what about the integer? What can we do in that? So let me just change the value. That is, I am Yash Adulkar, and remove this text to value. Yeah. So now you can see यहाँ पे value आ गया 0. Let me just increase the font size. Font size to 25. So guys, I hope the 0 is properly visible. If it is not, let me know. I'll just increase the size and check it out. Yeah. So now as you can see, the 0 is properly visible. Now what I'll do is that in this on press, now what does on press do? On press is a function, जैसे floating action button हो गया. We have different buttons, elevated button, text buttons. Now what is the primary purpose of button? Can you guys tell me what is the primary purpose of button in the chat screen? So when we say that the primary purpose of button is basically clicking. जब आप कोई चीज क्लिक करते हो और कोई फंक्शन रन होता है इन द एप्लीकेशन, दैट इज द प्राइमरी फंक्शन ऑफ अ बटन. वो एक प्राइमरी काम होता है बटन का. सो अगर मैं ऑन प्रेस में फंक्शन लिखता हूँ, जनरली फंक्शन लिखने के लिए हम लोग इस तरीके का एक्रोनिम यूज करते हैं, विच इज बेसिकली यहाँ पे ब्रैकेट में इनपुट देना कि आपका इनपुट्स क्या रहेंगे और कर्ली ब्रेसेस में फंक्शन करना. Since it's on press don't need any input currently over here. The text wheels and other functions need an input. So over here we can put up an input, but we don't. Now let's just change the value. On click on add, value will increase is equal to value plus 1. Right? The same in the on press of floating action button के remove में we write value is equal to value minus 1. Now guys, when we say a state, that means इसका जो ये value variable है उसका exactly value currently क्या है, that is the state. For example, if we write over here as string name is equal to Yash, then Yash is a state of the variable string. For example, over here it is int value is equal to 0. So 0 is the state of the value currently. It has not changed. Now let me try and increase the, what do you call that, plus with the plus button. Now over here I'm writing it as plus plus plus, but you can see the 0 is not changing. The biggest reason 0 is not changing is, first of all, we have written as stateless. When we say as a stateless, that means its state won't change. Uska state बिल्कुल भी change नहीं होगा. And when we say state change नहीं होगा, that means value का जो state currently is 0, it won't be changing. We need to change it to stateful. That is कि जिसमें state है, जिसमें state change हो रहा है. Currently is stateless, so we don't have any state. I hope I'm clear and it is not going above the head. Yeah. So let me just try and change it from stateless to stateful. As जैसे हम लोग को कोई भी widget wrap करना होता है, we get a lot of things in Flutter, जैसे wrap with widget, wrap with container. The same happens with stateless and stateful as well. So I'll just change it, right click, show context. You have the option of convert to stateful. Flutter automatically provides you these options. Flutter में inbuilt shortcuts बहुत ज़्यादा है, which you can get in Android Studio and VS Code. Other IDEs, my suggestion would be don't use those because you won't be getting over there. So let me just convert it to stateful and check it out. So now even though we have converted state, it has got a state. हमने stateful में पूरा convert किया automatically. Just press the click of button. Let me click Control Z, that is undo. I did undo. It is still a stateless. We do right click, show context actions. We have convert to stateful. Now I change it to stateful over here, and let me just restart the application. Yeah, guys. So now we have converted it completely to stateful, and let's try to change the value. Plus, 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 plus. We're still trying to do plus, but still the value is not changing. The biggest reason over here is because हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे value is equal to value plus one लिख दिया, यहाँ पे value is equal to value minus one लिख दिया. Value का value change हो गया, but उसका state change नहीं हुआ. For setting the state, changing the state, we need to set the state. And for setting the state, we need to call the function that is the set state. So let me just call a function set state. Over here also, I'll call the function as state. And let's just reload the application. Cool. Then now the application reload. Now let's try it out. Plus, see guys, now as you can see, मेरा state automatically change हो रहा है. With the increase of button, plus button, मेरा value बढ़ते जा रहा है. With the increase of minus button, मेरा value होते जा रहा है without any issues. So this is how guys a state works and a stateless and a stateful widget works. Whenever we say stateless, that means the widget doesn't have a state and the state won't be changing. Whenever we say stateful, we can change the state. But changing a state means in Flutter कि आप state set कर रहे हो. आपको state continuously set करते रहना पड़ेगा, उसके बिना आप state change नहीं कर सकते. That is the reason we always call set state. So, guys, this was basically the widgets and the basic introduction of Flutter, where we introduce the major widgets that will be commonly used. And second is the state, which is the common and the most basic functions that we use in Flutter. But now we also have to create an application. So let's start moving towards it and let's start creating the application. So guys, I'm pretty sure you guys must have got what do you call that? The code that the LetsUpgrade has provided from the drive link. So in this drive link, if you can see the what do you call that, the coding, what I've given is I've given you the asset folder, and I will also be showing you the coding that I have done over here from the initial application. Let's check it out. I'll be running the code from the complete start. So for which I don't need to change anything except for the my class application. So let me just change the my class app. So yeah, I'll just call it stateless. And over here, I'll just write it as my app. Instead of placeholder, over here, I'll be writing material app, and in which it will be home, and inside home, it will be a portfolio. So even if you don't have this code currently and you have not installed it, don't worry guys. I'll be also explaining this code as to what we have done over here. So it will help you out. Yeah. So guys, there are 2 to 3 things that we have done majorly over here. One is हम लोग ने stateless app का class बनाया है. which is a widget, stateless widget, inside which we have called material, and at home we have got portfolio application. पोर्टफोलियो एप्लीकेशन हम लोग ने एक अलग से फाइल बना के रखा हुआ है पोर्टफोलियो ऐप का, इन विच वी हैव जस्ट रिटर्न अ स्कैफोल्ड एंड अ ऐप बार. लेट मी रीरन द एप्लीकेशन एंड शो यू. So it is restarting. You will check it out, guys. And it's a complete blank application. There is nothing to worry in this. So set state is a value plus plus also we can use. That is not a problem. But everybody has own style of coding and own style of texting. So that is the reason we can write it like that. Yeah. So in the portfolio application, if you can see, I have just put up a scaffold and app bar. Let me just put up as, let me just remove the app bar. And in body, I'll just introduce a center widget because we'll be creating the application. So we have the center widget. But guys, ये सब कुछ तो हो गया, लेकिन ये तो just coding part है in Flutter. But there are a lot of things other than coding which we require to know. There are certain files that we require to know in Flutter that will help you out. First of all, over here, if you can see, this is an asset folder. Let me just zoom it out. There is an asset folder in which we have added assets like Facebook icons, GitHub icon, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and my photo icon. There is a pubspec YAML file. Now, what is a pubspec YAML file? Now, I'm pretty sure most of you over here are people from Node. So pubspec YAML file is basic root file in Flutter application, which has all your rules and regulations as to how your code will run, what it will do, what it won't do in pubspec YAML. Out of which आप अगर कोई plugins third party से install करते हो, वो सारी plugins भी pubspec YAML में ही include होते हैं. If you can see over here, it has name that is let's upgrade underscore flutter underscore bootcamp. It has description, let's upgrade bootcamp flutter project, published to none. We write published to none is because we have pub.dev. Pub.dev is basically a site which has all the flutter plugins, packages, जितने भी third party packages आप flutter में बनाते हो, it is published to pub.dev. तो अगर आप ये none करते हो तो फिर ये publish नहीं होगा. अगर आप उसको none नहीं करते हो, आप उस line को ही remove कर देते हो. Then you can publish the application to pub.dev. Until you remove this line, the application won't be published to pub.dev. We have version over here 1.0.0 plus 1. We are using SDK as Flutter 3.3.4 to Flutter 4.0.0. Now over here, if you can see at the bottom, we have Flutter, जिसमें हम लोग हमारे assets introduce करेंगे. Now guys, if you can see over here, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Yash.jpg. लेकिन ये सारे images हम लोग use कैसे करेंगे Flutter application? That is where pubspec.yaml comes up, where you can introduce it. Let me show you how it is. First, अगर कोई जावा किसी को जावा आता है, then it is very useful for him because जिसको पाइथन आता है, it is very useful for him because it is also indentation language. तो इसमें indentation पे ध्यान देना बहुत important होता है. That is tabs पे ध्यान देना बहुत important होता है, or else it will break up. So let me just click enter. Write it as assets dash tab assets slash. After which what you have to do is that you have to do pubget. जब तक आप pubget नहीं करोगे, it will not run the pubget, और pub के rules जो होते हैं वो उसको follows नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे change करने के बाद pubget is like saving the changes that you have done over here. Once you have saved all the changes, you can run the application. That is not an issue. I'll just run it up. So even though it shows spec has been edited, but since we have done everything, so there is nothing to worry. Yeah. Meanwhile, the application is running. I'll just code something and I'll show you the code. Inside the center, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put up a child. Let's put it up as image. Rather than putting up an image, just put up a circle avatar. Circle avatar is also a widget in Flutter, which is used कि अगर आपको कोई circle चीज ऐड करनी है, so you can use it up. Inside circle, जैसे हम लोगों ने टेक्स्ट में अलग अलग प्रॉपर्टीज देखे थे, स्टाइल, कलर्स, कंटेनर में भी कलर्स चेक किए थे. Inside this also there are multiple properties. We'll be using two properties currently. That is, one is radius and let's put up as radius as 30.0, and let's use background image. Now, as it's asking for image provider, let me use asset image. Don't worry, guys, I'll be also explaining this. And instead asset image, I'll just use the string slash yash.jpg. And these are minor warning signs. Don't worry about these warnings. Even if you don't sort it out, it will work the application. Now, since my application is also running and the grid is building, so we might have to wait. Until then, I'll just explain you what we have done over here. Yeah. So let me just explain you what we have done over here. We have created a new file named as portfolio underscore app, in which we have introduced a basic stateless widget with the name portfolio app. Again, guys, ये जो portfolio app लिखा है, it is just for my better understanding. You can write it as any application. If you have Saurabh, there is Saurabh application. If you have any name, you can write it as any application or portfolio screen as well. That is not an issue. It is just a name. Whatever widgets you are introducing, it is better to write. It is always used to write in build method, and you can only introduce it in build method. जिसमें हमने पहले इंट्रोड्यूस किया है scaffold, inside which we have introduced a center widget, inside which we have used circle avatar. Now, as we discussed previously, circle avatar is basically a widget will be used in circle shape, and we have given two properties to it. One is radius of 30, and second is background image. But with background image, as you can see, what it asks is it asks to use image provider. Now there are multiple images providers. Image provider is also kind of a widget, the class that they have introduced. What we'll be doing is we'll be creating an asset image, and I have just given it a path as asset slash yes.jpg. Okay, let's see what does the application show. Okay, our application is completely blank. Let's see why. Let's just give it an app bar for now. So guys, if you can see at the center, I'm able to see my image, but the image is very, very small. Let me just increase the size. Yep, it's still very small. Let me change it to 70. Yep. Now the image looks a bit good. So guys, if you can see, we have done a circle of that. Now what I want you to do is that जैसे मैंने assets में yash.jpg introduce किया है, put up your own image and introduce it over here in the same format. If you can see, what we have done is a circle avatar में background image का property दिया है. In asset image, we have added the asset path. Asset path is asset slash yash.jpg. Inside the asset path, you can add. Also, guys, one more thing, if you can see in the pubs by YAML, what I've done is asset slash, that is asset folder के जितने भी properties, जितने भी files है, उन सबको ले लो. If you are introducing any subfolder inside that, then you have to again write it as asset slash subfolder name. Wherever the folder is mentioned, you have to mention that folder in the assets. So we have introduced a circle avatar. Let me wrap this circle avatar in a column. Let's write text. As I am Yash Shadulkar. So if you can see the properties coming, let me write also today giving lecture and let's upgrade. So guys, ये तो एकदम आगे चला गया. I don't want it ahead. I wanted a new text widget. Let's give it a new text widget. Yep. So now if you can see, ये एक के नीचे एक आ गए, but still it is sticking properly, like it is continuously sticking to each other. We don't want it to just to stick to each other, but what we want is some of the gap that has to be present between them. If the gap is not present, then it won't look good, right? So let's just add a size box. Now I'll be just copying this and I'll be pasting it over here. Let's see how does it look. So now it looks pretty good that we have a circle avatar, a text and a text. Since it is a subtext, let me change it to 5. Yep, now it looks a bit good. So guys, until the जो हम लोग portfolio app बनाएंगे, inside below we'll be adding our resumes, we'll be adding our social icons and all the links, plus our drive links and other links present over here. So we'll be adding those. I hope it's clear until now. I hope you guys don't have any doubts. If you have any doubts, let me know in the chat section. I'll be sorting it out for next 2 minutes. Recycle view. So please explain pub spec again. Your voice was breaking. So guys, as we said in the pub spec, what is we are doing is pub spec is basically to write the rules of all the applications. जितने भी आपके rules होते हैं वो सारे की सारी चीजें आप pub spec में लिखते हो. So इसलिए हम लोग pub spec लिखा जाता है. In the pub spec, as we said, we have name and description, which is variables. The main is publish to. Publish to is basically used if you want to publish your application to pub.dev, then you have to remove it. If you're not publishing your application to pub.dev, then you have to keep it. अगर आप प्ले स्टोर ऐप स्टोर कहीं पे भी एप्लीकेशन पब्लिश कर रहे हो, then you can keep it as it is. Main thing over here is the assets, in which we have introduced the assets folder. And guys, the second main thing that you guys should know is it is kind of a Python language. It is kind of an indentation method. So always before writing the code in the pubspec.yaml, you should always use indentations properly. So this was a basic introduction of pubspec YAML. Enroll for upcoming. Can we connect through LinkedIn? Guys, please don't ask such questions for LinkedIn or any connections. You can directly connect. You can ask LetsUpgrade. It's okay. Can I explain the last what you do? Okay. Share the video link of setting up Flutter and BS code. Okay. What for project for landing a job? So guys, the project that we are currently making, that is a complete portfolio application. This will help you to land a job. Plus we'll be also connecting the HTTP and the network calls and database to it. So it will be useful for you guys as well in your landing a job. Instead of 10.2, why don't you use space evenly for it? So the reason I don't use space evenly for it is because there will be more elements will be introduced over there, and the column widget will also be changing in future. That is the main reason I've used 10.2, but we can use space evenly currently. If I change the size of the screen of the application responsive. Yes, when you're using the space evenly and other methods, the application become responsive. How to set in horizontally? For horizontally setting it up, you can directly use row rather than column. Notes is something, guys, I think so LetsUpgrade has already provided you with all the notes that have been present. So yeah, so guys, I think so that was my time for today. With this, what we'll be tomorrow doing is we'll be completing this portfolio applications. So we'll be getting the first application over here. There will be second application which will help you out in using calling the HTTP calls and network calls. So we'll be doing 2 applications in this bootcamp. Yeah. So I think so that's it for tomorrow. For tomorrow's topic, we'll be completing this portfolio and then we'll be moving on towards the HTTP calls, that is the network calls and state management. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you for listening. And I hope today's lecture was pretty good for you guys. And if it is, you can click on the heart, I think so that is present in chat, and help us out and give us a review. Thank you guys.